Hi, I'm Tina Spangler with TLC Barrels in Keystone Heights, Florida, and welcome to my weekly Q&A podcast. Today is July 22nd of 2025, and this is episode number 258 and my third episode on YouTube channel. So if you're new to my channel or new to my watching this, you can learn more about my online coaching group at tlcbarrels.com. So go ahead and take a look at my website if you're interested in joining my online coaching group or attending clinics or lessons. So what an exciting week. It's Youth Teen World in Perry, Georgia. The championship's going on. Round one is in the finished now. Round one for the youth and the teen. And so far our group is doing really well. Jalen and Jaxie, I've been able to be a part of her journey since she was in Pee-wees, and since Jaxie was really just a novice horse and they were running 2 or 3 seconds out, and now through a lot of hard work and going to a ton of super shows, and now they're in their open years. They've been a team for a few years now. They just placed 7th out of 822 horses in the youth division for go around 1. So 14-7 won it, and they ran a 15-1. So exciting. So dreams do come true, and hard work pays off. So keep that in mind. Some of our other members have done amazing too. Izzy and Thunder had a personal best fast time. Alexis and Jitter, they ran a 21 in poles. Our other Isabella and her horses are doing great. A lot of you have been sending me your videos to review. Some of you want them private for right now, which is perfectly fine. You've got round 2 and hopefully the finals ahead of you. So, but I'm proud of all of you. I don't want to leave anybody out, but just so many of you are doing so good. And I just want you all to keep remembering just one run at a time, just like at home, just like any other barrel race. Stay focused in the moment. Do your normal pre-race routine, and just focus on your spots, kind of see your run, say a little prayer all beforehand. Take that deep breath, clear your mind, and just focus on 1 or 2 things as you head down that alleyway that's important to your run on that particular horse. And some of you are riding 3 horses at World, so that's really important too, that you visualize which horse you're on and what they need from you, and see your run from the holding pen through the alleyway timer, first, second, third, all the way back home. You don't want to focus on one part too much. You want to see just one fluid run in your mind, and not overthink it. Just kind of be in the moment. So anyways, I'm excited for all of you. You're all doing so well. And just set one goal for each run, and always find one thing you're really proud of when you get done. So, and that applies for everybody, whether you're going to a jackpot this weekend, a rodeo, super show, whatever. And we have members from 8 to 80 in the group. So it's been just a really fun journey. For those of you wondering where the other 256 or 55 episodes are, you can find it at Spotify. You can find me at Spotify, Tina Spangler, TLC Barrels, and you can listen to 5 years of this weekly Q&A podcast. And I decided to change it up this year and put it on my YouTube channel and share it in the group that way, so you can see me and just kind of a little more personal. I used to do them live in the group, but Facebook's always changing. So YouTube, I've got, gosh, I don't know, 15, 16 years of videos there. So be sure to subscribe to my channel. There's over 4,000 videos there. But if you're a member of the coaching group, it's all organized for you. You don't want to hunt through 4,000 videos. So if you go to my members only website as part of your online coaching group, it's organized by 13 topics, everything from colt starting, basics before barrels, how I pattern a barrel horse, drills, dry work, equipment, bits, you name it, it's there. And it's all organized by topic, so you don't have to hunt all over for it. And it's also in the Facebook online coaching group. That's a private group for the members only. Remember, you can go to the files in there, and we're going to talk about today's topic is horsemanship. There's actually a horsemanship challenge. You can print that off and do that challenge with your horse. So in everything I talk about, there's a video that goes along with it. So never feel like you're just wondering what in the heck that is. There's usually a diagram and a video to go with it. in the members only website. At the very bottom, it's 2 pages now. On page 2 at the bottom, there's 1 year of challenges that you can take part in. But we do have a monthly challenge in the group every month for mindset and skill. This month, the challenge for skill is a 4-corner circle drill. It's a wonderful drill to do 2-hand, 1-hand for team building, for transitions, perfect straight lines, separating your rate and your turn cues, and your turn cue becomes a shaping cue, and just having really good form with your horses. It's a great team builder. It can be done in a walk, a post, trot, sit, jog, and a lope. And then, of course, the mindset challenge for this month, excuse my dog's barking in the background, 2 Jack Russell puppies. So thankfully they're outside right now. Let's see here. So mindset is to go to the members only website and study videos and see what you can learn there. Let's see what else we have. I posted some new videos in the coaching group in the past week, doing circles into a spin or a 360, and also backing a circle. These are things I just randomly do on my horse. So it's not like he's a fancy fine-tuned reining horse. I don't spend a half hour 5 days a week on it. I just want to know that at any point in time I want to back a circle, I can. It may not be perfect with his head totally broken the pole and laterally and vertically, but he is moving off my leg and keeping the hip in, the shoulder out, and it's a fluid motion. So backing circles is really important for control on your horses. And because barrel racing is a high adrenaline forward sport, it's good to go back to basics during the week and work on stopping, loose rein woe, backing, straight line circles, roll back, side passing, anything that gets a horse focused on the cues. The more you can go do your dry work or your drills, the better during the week, especially even on open horses. It's important to have a good schedule for them. Maybe the day after a barrel race, they're off. And then maybe the next day you go on a trail ride or pasture ride, 30 minutes of just walking, or maybe some trotting or long trotting. The other thing is, like, one day could be dry work, one day could be drills. And then one day maybe you do walk the pattern or trot the pattern perfect and just be an easy trail pasture day, and then compete once a week. But 2 days off a week is generally good. And riding at home 4 days a week and 1 competition is generally really a good idea. So, have a good schedule, because remember, dreams do come true. Jalen's obviously one that one's coming true for her right now at World. But doing a little something every day towards your goals, your dreams, is how they come true. When you look at a goal and you go, oh, I want to go to the NFR one day. Well, that goal isn't going to happen unless you cut it into little tiny chunks, like ride my horse daily, improve my skill, improve my mental game, set goals to win 1D in my local area, 1D, 2D in my local area, and then open rodeos, and then pro rodeos in my circuit. And then you move on up. So you just don't go, oh, I'm going to the NFR. You have to start somewhere. So a lot of times I tell people, start easy, hauling your horse for exhibition exposure. And then possibly just, setting a goal for year-end awards or a buckle series or saddles, something like that for your association that you're in. And then maybe being consistent in that division. And then maybe the next year moving up a division. It takes time to make a barrel horse. I always gave my 3-year-olds 2 years. I did their basics as 3-year-olds. I did pattern and hauling for slow work as a 4-year-old, and I entered them in maturity as 5-year-olds. And they came out running 1D, 2D by doing that. Some people do it differently. Some people just do basics and barrels and then start entering them, and they're all over the place, maybe 5D, 4D, 3D. But I always wanted my horses to have some consistency. So I'd rather give more time on the beginning and have a horse that's solid, that lasts me 20 years, than push them, or 15 years of competition from 5 to 20. And there's horses in their early 20s still competing. And if your horse, God bless, is sound and can compete at, healthy like that, you should absolutely do that. But to me, if you skip the foundation and just go to the barrels, you're making a huge mistake that's going to set them up for problems in the future. And honestly, it's easier to train a horse correctly than have to go back and fix problems. So keep that in mind as well when you're training your horses. I do want to welcome some new members. Let's see here. We have Nicole and Lily from Florida, June from New Hampshire, Ellie and Ashley from Canada. So the group's been going for 5 years now, and we have international, but Canada, that's our first Canadian team or Canadian members. We've been in other countries, Africa, Australia, New England, and 27 states in the United States. So there's over about 100 active members at all times, and been almost 400 people sign up in 5 years. So, and people come and go as they need me and as their seasons. Some people live in hot summer states and other people live in snowy, cold states. So they come and go as they need. Or a lot of them, I'd say half, join for a year at a time, and even if they're not competing, they like to stay active by watching the videos I post in the group. I do a lot of slow motion critiques in the group on Facebook. And then, of course, you have access to the members only and all of that, too. So I really do hope that you watch these Q&A podcasts because they have a lot of good information, too. And I never run out of things to talk about because I'm always doing whatever is going on in the group at the time. And there's always new members and there's always new experiences. So anyways, but like I mentioned before, TLC started in the early 90s in Colorado. And my motto, Ride with Heart, is so important. That means to always put the horse first. I've gone to shows, paid a lot of money for entry fees, and my horse fell off, and I'd turn out. I wouldn't run them because I want my horses to enjoy their job. I don't want them to run in pain. And also, I want them to last. So I wouldn't risk one run for their career. So keep that in mind and always put them first and always give 100% inside and outside of the arena. That is to ride with heart. When I started at 25, my goal, my dream was to have my own barrel horse training business and make my own 1D barrel horses. But I also saw things in the industry I didn't like, and I really wanted horsemanship to be a big part of it. When I was a kid, horsemanship really wasn't taught to me at the beginning. Luckily, my mom bought a Welsh pony that knew what to do, and she took care of me. But then my mom sent me for lessons with a lady named Martha Roper in Norco, California. And she was the first one who taught me how to communicate with a horse and rider cues and everything that I needed to learn to improve myself as a rider. Then I got really into horsemanship in the Colorado years, studying like John Lyons and Ray Hunt and Buck Branham and Tom Dorns. All of those were really important to me. Horsemanship. Now, mind you, I'd go to every clinic I could for barrel racing too, and read every book and watch every. Back then they were cassettes, but watch everything I could on barrel racing. I was just a student of it, and I'm still a student of it. Even 33 years later, you're always learning. You can always learn from every horse you meet, every rider you meet. And every trainer out there has maybe something that's special and unique that they do. You may or may not like it for your horse. Sometimes trainers like me have an experience of, for me, I did everything. I started 100 colts under saddle, so I have an abundance amount of what it's like to start babies and how important colt starting is. And then of course, how many horses came into my barn with lack of basics, and how important basics are, getting them broke in the face and moving their shoulder, their rib cage, their hip, all of that. And then of course, proper pattern where they actually work off your seat and your legs more than your hands. All of that was really important. And education with speed, being perfect and smooth before you go fast. So with that, it's just a lifetime of education. And of course, every horse is unique and every rider is unique. So all of that, thousands of horses, thousands of riders, has really been an education that has taught me so much, and what I'm super grateful for, and what I share with all of my members now, and why it's easy for me to critique things and see things when I do your coaching reviews. And that's just because of experience. And we can all become more experienced by doing something every day. And that's my point of this. So I'm going to do the topic here in just a moment about horsemanship, and also answer the questions from this week. Let me see what else I'm forgetting. Just really remember your why. When you find yourself getting nervous or frustrated, just remember your why. Remember that little girl or little boy that just loved horses and maybe loved the sport of barrel racing, or maybe loved horsemanship and seeing if they could have a better relationship with their horse. Just remember your why. And for some of you, it is competing and to win and to get to certain levels. And that's okay too. But keep things in perspective and set realistic goals, and always put your horse first. So let's see what else I have on my notes. Let's see. I mentioned that you can watch all the other episodes on Spotify. They're still there. We do have a special going on right now, July, August, and September. Summer special, 5-year anniversary of the coaching group. Any member that refers somebody and they mention your name when they sign up for $20 a month or $200 for a year, you get a free month. So refer your friends. Summertime I like to do a special in the summertime. It's my slower season because I don't have any clinics. Clinics I do October to June, and then for the summer I take a break from clinics just because it's so hot. It's too hard on the horses. So let me see. I think that's pretty much it for reminders. Just when you send your videos, remember you get 1 video a week or 4 per month. A side-by-side, doing 2 videos side-by-side only counts as 1. The training challenge video is a freebie, and you also get entered in the drawing. So doing the 4-corner circle drill, I'll enter you in the drawing. You can win a free month or a prize, just like the personal best drawing. If you tell me you had a personal best, I'll add you to the list, whatever it is. Jill just sent me one that she just saddled her yearling for the first time, and the stuff she's been doing with her 2-year-olds, and all those are personal bests. Maybe you had a nicer first barrel than usual, or you mastered your second barrel, or your horse is changing their leads or picking up their leads better. All those are personal bests, not just a fast time in an arena. And the drawing, you can win a prize or a free month in the group. So we have 2 drawings every month. And that's just because I want to keep you involved in the training, and I want you to keep striving for personal best. It's the small wins daily that lead up to the big wins yearly. Just keep that in mind. All right, so question. Let's see here. We talked a little bit about anxiety last week and mental game, but this writer says they're just so hard on themselves and they don't know how not to be. You kind of have to swap your thinking, to positive thinking, number 1, but think of a mistake. I read this the other day and I thought it was really good. There's a lot of self-help books out there on positive thinking and mental game, but I think sometimes it's how someone says it that it's a light bulb moment for a different person. It's kind of like I can say something and someone may not resonate with it, but someone else says it. It's the same thing, but just said differently, and it's a light bulb moment for them. Or maybe a parent tells a child something and they go, well, I say the same thing and they listen to you. It's just maybe who's saying it or how they say it. It just depends. But anyways, I saw this saying where it says, mistakes are just data, not a disaster. So if you think of it as a mistake in a run, as just data on how to fix it for the next run, as oh, this is feedback, okay, and it's not a disaster, let it go, move on, you will not be so hard on yourself. And I think that's really important. And we did talk about that in mental game last week, so be sure to listen to that Q&A. The next question is open horse schedule, and I just talked about that one. So the goal with the open horse is to keep them physically, emotionally, and mentally happy. They don't need barrel work per se because they know their job, they know the pattern. Sometimes a rider needs it more than the horse, but that's why dry work and drills can mimic the same muscles that you would use in muscle memory. So that's what I would recommend. And like I said, you don't want to bore an open horse. So maybe one day you pony them or trail ride or maybe lunge them, things like that. And then one day is dry work, one day is drills, and maybe one day is slow barrels. If you wanted to walk and trot it just to say, this is where you go exactly, and then you just trust them on the weekend to go there. But I do think that's a good schedule with 2 days off and competing once a week. I know there's super shows in there and stuff like that, but everybody needs rest and recovery, just like, people need vacations, so do horses. So keep that in mind too. Rest is important for them to, heal, because what they do, especially if you're running 1D, 2D. Maybe a 5D horse isn't running or turning quite as hard as a 1D horse. So sometimes they get sore because they put so much into it. So if you are running a lot, definitely be seeing your bodywork person monthly, the sports medicine vet twice a year instead of once a year. Just remember, with going a lot, there's a lot more upkeep as well. Let me see what else. Question about training option. Okay, so all right, so sometimes you do need a trainer to tune your horse. For me, I would rather see the rider learn with their horse, because it doesn't do any good if I train the horse and send it home and the rider doesn't keep it up. But my experience when I was a trainer could help the horse tune up or advance faster, because my timing, I know what to expect and when to expect it. So there's nothing wrong with having a village of people that help you. Maybe you do have a trainer that helps you and tunes your horse a little bit, but don't just drop them off. Be involved. If the trainer won't let you come once a week for a lesson, that's a red flag. Every trainer should want to teach you what they're teaching their horse. Some trainers would rather work with horses than people, but guess what, trainer? That's part of it. You don't get the horse without the human, and you have to work with both, because again, it's just flushing money down the toilet if you don't learn with your horse. And two, it's not fair to the horse to have the trainer ride it one way and then the owner ride it another way and just confuse it. So definitely there's nothing wrong with doing that, especially like with kids. A lot of times with kids, it's important to get tune-ups. Maybe the parents get on the horse sometimes and tune them up. Maybe the trainer does. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But like I mentioned, setting realistic goals. Your video critiques are really important. Sending me a video of how you train at home, not just how you compete, is so important. A lot of times, if you send me a video of you doing transitions or straight lines and circles, or just your face flexing or two tracking, shoulder hip control, I can see right away why you might be having a problem in competition, just based on how your rider cues are in your horse's foundation. So it is important to get lessons, and there isn't a sport out there that doesn't have a coach. There isn't a sport out there that doesn't offer lessons. So barrel racing shouldn't be any different. And you'll usually find that your higher level barrel racers are always wanting to bounce ideas off of other trainers and stuff, because they're always wanting to improve. And most people are going to share, because bottom line is, it's not you against the other person. It's just you and the clock. You don't have a judge. It's just you and your horse against the clock, and the fastest time wins. So now, mind you, some people, used to be, maybe they keep things in their pocket and hold things, because they didn't want to be outran. They wanted to win. But I find nowadays there's so much with the internet out there that you can't help but learn horsemanship. It's just on your Facebook page every day. It's on your TikTok. It's just there. So now watching and doing is two different things. So that's why one-on-one or hands-on is important as well. So let's see. I'm at 23 minutes. Okay. So the next question was about giving bute and Previcox or Equinox. So you really do need to talk to your vets about this stuff, because if you double dose your horse and you do Banamine and bute together, or Previcox or Equinox together with bute, you could definitely hurt your horse. You can cause ulcers, kidney failure, or even like Lasix with some herbs and stuff that can cause a drop in, blood pressure, things, so many things that are not good for your horses. So you definitely want to be careful. You shouldn't be giving Banamine and bute together. All of these things can be very bad. And like I said, even your herbal paste, of supplements you put on their food with RX medicines, ACE or guazabans, all those things can be toxic when given together. So don't be afraid to ask your vet these questions, for sure. So that's a good question and important. So this time of year, it's abscess season in the southeast, because we're going wet, dry. So don't forget to paint those horses' feet with turpentine or iodine. Keep them dry and hard. There's hoof hardener like Keratox out there. Watch out for thrush and white line this time of year with the humidity. in the wet. So keep those horses healthy. I think that's all for questions. So getting into the topic, horsemanship, you know, what's natural, what's natural for horses? Is it to nurture them, nature, what's best? And in all honesty, I don't really think you can control a horse until you learn how to control yourself. So, and with that, I mean everything from your emotions. It's like your horse knows what you're thinking before you're thinking it. If you go out to the barn with a halter, they know you're coming to work them. You go out to the barn with a bucket of feed, they know you're coming to feed them. You go out to the barn with an agenda or, the trailer hooked up, they know what's coming. So horses read us better than we even acknowledge. Our body language, our stress levels. So it is really important for you to learn how to control everything. Your attitude, your calmness, your body language, how you greet your horse. It really determines how your sessions are going to go with your horse. And then it's important that you have solid groundwork. It's important that you have solid foundations on the ground and in the saddle. Yes, barrel horses need to be a little bit up and sometimes they're a little strong coming into the alleyway. But in all honesty, we have to have a little bit, some horses have more than others, but they kind of have to be a little bit strong to be, especially at a 1D, 2D level, to be really firing out there. And then when they come out in the arena, sometimes they're really pumped up and a lot of adrenaline in their bodies. So we want them to come in Western Pleasure Calm and make a run and come out Western Pleasure Calm. But that's not realistic any more than our adrenaline is way up when we come out after a run and we have to breathe and calm down before we hop on that next horse. So there is a fine line with barrel horses on keeping enough energy in them that they have that fire and that grit and that desire to run. But then you have to have enough control that they still have enough manners and foundations that they don't hurt you or hurt anyone else or hurt themselves for that matter. So I think that's very important. There's 5 things I'm going to address. One is your connection with your horse. You really do need to learn to bond with them. And that's why a good just trail riding day or groundwork day can really be your bonding time. I think that's really important. And as a trainer, I had all kinds of horses come in my barn. Horses that were really talented, horses not so talented for barrel racing. I had green ones come in, problem horses. And I had to learn to work with all types of horses, scared ones, pushy ones, stiff ones, bendy ones. You name it, you just have to learn to work with all the personalities. And so connection is really important, knowing your horse. The second thing, as I mentioned, the groundwork. I think groundwork, it teaches trust and respect, number one, just like in a herd of horses, there's an alpha, there's a pecking order, there's routine, and the way they do things. But it also establishes the communication of cues, and those cues that you do on the ground flow into the saddle. So if ever things are falling apart on the saddle, get back on the ground and see if you can do what you want to do on the ground as well. And if something new, knowing your horse, it may be time for a vet check or something like that, or time off or do something new, go work cows, go for trail rides, do obstacles, something like that. And then of course in the saddle, foundation is so important, going back to basics a lot during the week. That's very, very important. And then number 4, the goal setting and the schedules. Riding your horse 4 or 5 days a week, and that includes competition and rides, or groundwork, whatever, ponying them, any exercise, but time with your horse. And it can be anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour. In this heat, you might be done in 20, 30 minutes, especially in the summertime. And then, of course, the 5th thing is that mindset. You have to be positive, and that confidence will come with everything else. You'll become more confident when you have that connection with your horse, knowing your horse, when you have that solid foundation and solid pattern, and when you have a solid schedule, so you're practicing your skill all the time, mental and physical. And then, of course, you've got your goals set up. So we don't get better by just waking up without a plan. We get better when we have a plan, but we have to take that huge goal and turn it into a daily or a weekly schedule or plan. So keep all of that in mind. And I've been talking again for 30 minutes. So, but lastly, I'm just going to leave you with how important it is to remember your why. Um, for me, it's always been the love of the horse and then the sport. And of course, the horsemanship. I've always loved training horses. And it's always been a part of, no, I knew people came with it. People are probably the harder part. Like horses is easier for me than people sometimes. But now, of course, this many years later, it's probably 50-50. But it is important that the people and the horse, they go together. So you have to be able to understand that the horse and rider, you have to understand how they both learn and work with them that way. There goes the puppies. Um, so just keep that in mind. And of course, always ride with heart. I do want to thank my sponsors, Coat Defense. They have a wonderful powder that I put on my dog for itchy belly from the wet grass. On the horse's coat, they have a hoof powder for thrush. Just a wonderful product. So check out Coat Defense. Majestic wafers, Majesty wafers. Sorry, I always say that wrong. Majesty's wafers. They are wafers for horses that have special things in them: omegas, joint medicine, calming, a lot of good stuff in those. Creative Concepts does all my logos and flyers. That's Lauren Terrell with the Blue Creek Photography. And of course, Florida Equine Athlete. I write an article for their magazine every month. I've known her and written for her for probably 20 years. And then, of course, Dynamite and doTERRA, which you can order through me, and I can tell you how to get it wholesale. Right now, DynaSpark is a must through the summer with electrolytes. It's such a good product. And of course, I always feed Dynamite an ounce a day. Keeps the doctor away. It's all your amino acid, chelated vitamins and minerals, everything you need in one scoop of a little tiny pellet every day. And doTERRA right now, lavender has been my go-to because of the bug bites. If anything bites you, lavender. Anything bites your horse, lavender. It's just great for that. So anyways, I think that's about it. So remember your 1 minute positive sprint. Always say a prayer and just be grateful for everything good in your life. You can always find more good than bad, that's for sure. But the bad's just so bold, and it takes a minute, and sometimes you have to let it out, let it go. But anyhow, so ride with heart, everybody, and God bless, and thank you for listening to this Q&A podcast. And if you're interested in learning more, go to tlcbarrels.com. And if you have a question, you remember, don't forget to ask. We'll be doing this every Wednesday now, because Monday and Tuesday I'm pretty slammed with video critique. So Wednesday is an easier day for me to do it. So thank you guys, and have a great week.